The Lorax. At the far end of town, where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, and the old once lair still lives here? Ask him, he knows. Yes, we won't see the once lair. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkin' on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffled moof. And one special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather's snail. And then he pulls up the pail and makes the most careful count to see if you paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snuff, his secret strange hole in his gruffless glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper my phone, for the secrets I tell are for your ears alone. Slop. Down the slopes, the whisper my phone to your ear, and the old onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a nervily hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the somy swans rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts on the truffula trees, mile after mile in fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barber lutes frisking about, and their barber lute suits as they played on the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the repulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop, and with great skillful skill, and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft, and I knitted uh, the need. The instant I'd finished, I'd heard a gazoomp. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was a sort of a man. Describe him. That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said, with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lung. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What's the thing you made out of my truffula tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there is no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I am doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a need. It needs find something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you're crazy with greed. There's no one on earth who would buy that fool thing. But the very next minute I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute a chop came along, and he thought that the need I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, I cried the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room in no time at all. Built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, Listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. For over here fast, take the road to North Natch. Turn left. We are waking sharp right at South Ditch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting needs, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one smacker. We were making needs 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, "I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who played in the shades in their barbaloot suits, and happily lived, eating triflu fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough triflu fruit to go round, and my poor bar barbaloots are getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies." They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope they may. "Good luck, boys," he cried, and he sent them away. I, the onceler left, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the roads of the needs I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more, and biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes, and when the old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. "I am the Lorax," he coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffled. He snargled, he sniffed. "Onceler," he cried with a cruffless croak, "Onceler, you're making such smoggless smoke. My poor swami swans, why they can't sing no more. No one can sing who has smog in his throat." "And so," said the Lorax, "please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them away." "Where will they go?" "I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. What's more," snapped the Lorax, his dander was up, "let me say a few words about Gluppity Glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making Gluppity Glurp, also Gluppity Glup. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old onceler man, you." "You're glumping the pond with the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and go woefully weary, and such of some water that isn't so smeary. Oh, here things are just as bad up in Lake Erie." And then I got mad. I got terribly mad, and I yelled at the Lorax, "Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring and biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more trufula trees into nads, which everyone needs." And at that very moment we heard a loud whack. From outside the field came a snickering smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last trufula tree of them all. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done, so in no time my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smogged stars. Now all that was left beneath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory and Lorax and I. Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad backward glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hesitated himself and took leave on this place without a hole in the smog, without leaving a trace. And all that Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word: useless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all my heart. But now, says the Muslim, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Useless. Someone like you cares a whole awful lot. Nothing's going to get better. It's not. So, Catch calls the once Larry. He let something fall. It's a trufula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the trufula seeds, and trufula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new trufula, treat it with care, give it clean water, and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all his friends may come back.